everybody, and welcome to episode 57 of the This Old Knit podcast. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine, on Ravelry, Instagram, and Pinterest. And I'd like to thank new viewers for checking me out, and returning viewers, as always, for coming back after all this time. So this week, it's been about 2 weeks, so I have quite a bit to share with you. But first, I just wanted to clear up a couple of administrative things. And I'm sorry my light is going to be really bad. It is late in the evening, and it's really hot, so I do have the fan on upstairs. If I didn't have it on, it would be chaos. So I have the fan on, and we'll hope that that keeps me cool enough. But I know with my normal camera, it tends to do weird things to my voice. So I'm hoping that it won't do that with my phone camera. So I'm recording on my phone right now. And my phone also adjusts better for lighting conditions. So hoping that that will help as well. I am seizing the moment to record. So I did not do my makeup. And I have blonde eyelashes, so this is what they look like when I don't have mascara on. I have quite long eyelashes, but they're blonde, so you can't see them unless I put mascara on them. Total digression. But my cal for knitting from books or magazines is winding up tomorrow. However, we're going to be traveling next week for our family reunion, so I don't know if I'll get a chance to record another podcast to announce the winners. And there's been tons of participation, so I really appreciate that. I am a terrible failure at my own cal. I did not really do anything. I did count my knitting from my Coffee with Cece book as knitting from books, but I did not complete any of those socks. Well, I guess I did, but I didn't start them. So maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself. But anyway, I didn't do any of the books over here to the side that I planned on knitting from. I just didn't get to it. So life has been a little bit crazy. We've been adjusting to some different behavioral things with the kids. Nothing bad. I just think that they're going through phases of their lives, and they're difficult phases. So, yeah, I have some tea up here that I'm going to need to transfer, so I'm going to reach over here really quickly to grab my sad little broken handled mug. I just use it as a pencil cup now, but it's going to hold my little tea thingy. But Megwin has a lot of junk in it. Me. And my curls. My curls are going crazy. Joshua has these curls. Clearly he gets them from me. Okay. Put that right there, so I'll be ready to go. So I will draw for those winners probably when we get back from the trip, but I will maybe write down where the thread is at as far as numbers. I didn't do a finished objects thread for that one. I almost never do for cals. I might start doing that again just because it makes it a little bit easier to draw, and then I don't have to draw over and over and over again like I do if I use the chatter thread. So I don't know, maybe I'll try that on the next cal. So before I get into the next cal, the person who won the Doctor Who prize, the knitting bag from Lovesock Wool, did not contact me. It's been over a month at this point, so I redrew for that prize. So just as a refresher, here's the lovely bag that the very generous Sarah of the Lovesock Wool podcast and Etsy shop donated for our Doctor Who cal. So it has a lovely bottle cap. You could use that as a progress keeper. Yeah, it's got a little lobster claw on it, and then the nice handle. I have one that I kept for myself, and then this one was for a prize. So as I said, I redrew for that prize, and the new winner was Use Your Yarn. So U spelled like the sheep, EWES, Your Yarn. So Use Your Yarn, and I forgot to write down your name, I'm so sorry. Please contact me, PM me, and I will get this lovely bag out to you, and thank you for participating. So you have 4 weeks from when this podcast goes up to claim your prize, otherwise I will redraw again, but please don't make me redraw again. I've had a couple where I've had to redraw like 3 times before I finally got somebody that contacted me. It's crazy. But I get it. Like, people get busy and they probably get behind on podcasts, and I've just always made it my thing that I want people to contact me. It kind of shows me that you're watching my podcast and that you are participating in the community, which is the reason why I do my cows, so that I can kind of get to know everybody. So yeah, please just contact me and I will get the prize package out to you. So I have a finished object, guys. And I already spilled the beans because I talked about it in the Knitting for Books cow piece. So I will go ahead and share that with you now. And for those of you who follow me on Instagram, I've already shared photos of this, so it'll be not as exciting, I guess. But I finished my first pair of socks from the Coffee with Cece book. Okay, so I knit these out of opal sock yarn, and you can see, ooh, yeah, it's picking up the sparkles. So it's a sparkly sock yarn, and I won't even pretend to try to pronounce it because it's in German on the label. I don't know if I have the label up here or not. I think I have that one downstairs. So I really enjoyed these. I did the 64 stitch version. I did cuff down like I always do, and I inserted my standard heel flap because, as I've said many times, I do not like short row heels. They just don't fit my feet very well. I don't have anything personally against them. They just don't work for my feet. And if I'm taking all the time to knit custom socks for my feet, they should be custom to my feet, right? So here's the funny thing, and I think I showed this last time. Apparently I can't follow a pattern. So I thought I was all smart. Oh, I'm going to start the next one. This one I knit straight from the pattern. And it's supposed to be a 1x1 twisted rib. Great. Did it. Blah, blah, blah. All the way down. Second one. I'm just going to start the sock. I've got the needles. I'm just going to go ahead and cast on. So I cast on, and I think I was maybe at a restaurant or something. I think I was at a teen lunch. So I cast it on, but I cast on my standard 2x2 rib, which is what I almost always do for my cuffs. Not even thinking. And I had this sock with me. That's the funny thing, because I wanted to know how many rows to do before I started knitting plain and then went into the pattern. So I just it didn't register with me, people. That is how crazy things have been. But that's fine. You know, that's going to be hidden by my pants most of the time, and I just don't really care. The socks are going to stay up, and they're cute. They're so cute. I knit from the center of the ball for the heel so that I didn't disrupt the stripes on the front. So I do have different color heels, but that always happens, really, if you knit from the middle of a self-striping ball. I don't care to lose enough yarn to make it match. I guess I could have if I was really, really picky, but I'm more picky about the front, which is what people are going to see and pay attention to. So yeah, I really like them. I definitely will be knitting this pattern again. Probably once I get through all of the socks from that book, because these are for the Knitting Broomstick Coffee with Cece cow, and I still have a lot of socks to go, people. This is my first pair from that book, so I'm behind a little bit, but I do have 2 more pair from that book on the needles already. I'm looking over here because I think I've got, yarn for the third pair picked out. I'm going to be a terrible podcaster here. Nope. I don't know where it went. Well, credola. Okay. I don't know where it is. Okay. I'm going to take this guy out and probably burn my hands in the process. Okay. Alrighty. So, the other pairs I have on the needles from that book, I will show you. And then I have some Shibui yarn picked out for the I Love You More Than Pumpkin Spice Lattes pattern. And that one, ooh, I think I know where it is. It might be in here. That one will be on the needles soon. So I have the faux, right? Good job, Nina. Good job. And then I also have, oh my gosh, I was so productive. And this one does not qualify for any cal, but it's Felici. It's Felici, guys. And I love Felici. And I will show you in a minute how much I love Felici, because I got this thing here that you can just see a little bit of a basket of. It's hard to do the opposite of what you think your hand's doing. This basket is a part of a three basket set that I found at Tuesday Morning. They had 2 of them in the clearance area for I think 50 or 60% off. And I instantly thought, oh my God, best yarn storage ever. And toy storage. So I have one upstairs for my special skeins of yarn, and then I have one downstairs for like the kids' random miscellaneous toys. They have a bunch of like those little rubber animals, and Megan plays with them constantly. So they were a great investment, like the ones you get in a little bucket o animals. We got some that were sea life, some that were dinosaurs. We have reptiles, mammals, tons. So we probably have hundreds of those crazy little rubber animals. But she has so much fun with them, like hours and hours of imaginative play with them. And they're really cheap. I mean, they're like, I think a whole bucket was like $9 or something. And we also use them as like a motivational tool at the time. So it was when she was I think struggling with some behavior stuff, and so if she did well for a week, she'd get to pick out like 10 animals, so she earned points that she could then spend towards these animals. So those buckets like lasted for a long time for those incentives. But man, I am like Tangent City today. I'm sorry. I have a lot to say, and I'm so excited to podcast. I'm so excited. I've really missed it. I've really missed it. I'm gonna get my tea around to where I can actually drink it. That's nice. So I'm drinking some David's tea. I finally put in an order for David's tea because I had been hearing about it, and I got one sample of Bear Trap from Pug Love in April, and oh my God, it smelled amazing and it tasted so good, and I stretched it out as much as I could, and I was like, I gotta have more of this tea, and if any of it is as good as the Bear Trap was, then I am in for a treat. So I got, I think, 3 different teas because they were having their summer sale. So if you're interested, they're having like 40% off various teas right now. So I got America's birthday cake, which has sprinkles in it, so you can't say no to sprinkles. I got chocolate covered banana. I got apple strudel, and then I got one that's called the Boardwalk Collection, so it's a lot of different like summer fair treats, I think is what it's supposed to be like, going to the boardwalk. This one is cotton candy, and it has like little pieces of freeze-dried cotton candy in the tea, and it's a rooibos, so it is just really, really good. Yeah, and it smells like cotton candy. It's so nice. And I'm drinking out of my Epcot mug that my wonderful friend Andrea, who is now also a knitter, brought me back from when she went to Disney World. And it's funny because she and one other friend at work, I taught them both to knit, and apparently I make knitters with a capital K. I don't make knitters that just kind of knit a little bit here and there. No. My mom, who I taught to knit, who was Bethy Lou Who on Ravelry, she, for her first or second project, knitted this like cream colored full on cabled scarf and then just dove headfirst into knitting. And then my friend Andrea immediately started buying Woolen Vine and No Makers, and yeah, she wants to get Lemonade Shop. Like, she's crazy into the hand painted yarns and the indie dyers. And she made one pair of hand warmers and then immediately like made the bow ties our cool leg warmers. I'm just so impressed. And then Jen, who I also taught to knit, made like a couple of washcloths, and now she designed her own golf club covers and figured out how to do intarsia for the numbers. She didn't even know she was doing intarsia. She's like, I don't know, I just figured out a way to make the numbers work. And I'm like, oh, you just invented intarsia. So, yeah, apparently I surround myself with creative people and I release their creativity into the world. You're welcome. Yeah, do you want to see the sock now? Because that was a whole lot of crazy. Sorry. Okay, so this is Felici in the Kaleidoscope colorway, and I cast these on a Sunday and I finished them by Monday afternoon, other than the toe. The toe took me a little bit longer just because I didn't have time to graft it and stuff. So I started with the pink stripe, obviously, and then I did 20 rows of 2x2 ribbing. Like I said, that's what I do. And then I used the Vanilla Bean pattern by Emily O'Grady, who is Ooh Fancy Pants on Ravelry. And you can see it's a slip one, knit one pattern, so it's a free pattern, and it's very, very basic. So if you don't already know how to knit a sock, you will need a basic vanilla sock pattern to go with it. She just explains how to do this technique. And it's very simple, but genius. So really all it is whenever your color stripe changes, whenever it is, any point in the round, doesn't matter, you slip one, knit one until you come back around to that same point again. And then you just knit until you get to the next color repeat. And then you do the same thing. But it makes this really cool, almost like stair-steppy thing. And I think it really makes those stripes pop. And I love this colorway so much. It is so 80s in all of the best ways. And I love that the yellow stripe is not neon yellow, because I love this sort of buttercup yellow. That's one of my favorite colors, so I love that it's in this sock. Yeah. And then I just did my normal toe. And my normal heel, I do 18 repeats of the slip one, knit one, and then slip one, purl across. And then I pick up 18 along the heel flap. So I wrote my vanilla sock pattern down in one of my vanilla sock project pages, and I actually just always open that. Really all I need to refer to it for is I can never remember when I'm turning the heel how many I go across and then how many I come back. I think it's 17 across, slip, slip, knit one, turn, and then slip one, knit 5, knit 2 together, knit 1, turn, and then and then it's normal. So that's the only place where I check it. And most of the time I have it in my brain, but I don't trust my brain most of the time, so I check it. Um, and Andrea and Jen are knitting their first socks. I'm so excited. They're going to love them. I know they're going to love them. And I said, just wait. Once you slip on your first pair of hand knit socks that were made in exactly your proportions, you will throw all of your commercial socks away and you will want to knit all of the things. So I'm excited to see that happen. So that's one sock done. And then I did immediately cast on for the second sock, but it's buried deep within the recesses of my bag. There it is. Just a wee. It's so twee. What I'm doing for my travel knitting is I'm trying to at least get everything on the needles so that I know I have all of the right needle sizes that I need, even if I don't knit more than like a row or two. And that way I don't have to worry about casting on in the car, and I have everything all ready to go. I still have 2 shawls that I need to do that with because I need to play around with which needles I want to use. It'll be a 4 or 5. I'm not sure. Those tend to be the sizes that I always use for my shawls anyway. Okay, I have a lot of stuff to get out of this bag, so and I feel like I'm losing the light, so I'm sorry. It's gonna probably get really dark here soon. So I will move on now to just plain old whips. No half-finished objects here, just normal whips. So this is my strawberries and cream frappe sock. And you will probably be thinking to yourself, if you're a watcher of the podcast, but Nina, that doesn't look like your strawberries and cream frappe socks. I thought that was in Chili Knits. That yarn was a lot brighter with a lot more pops of color. Yep, you're right. And I ripped them out. The reason I ripped them out is that I couldn't really see the pattern at all with that yarn. I think that yarn just needs to be vanilla socks, or I'm even pondering it might be really, really great as a random active color shawl with like a dark gray. Oh, wouldn't that be beautiful? I think that'd be so beautiful. I kind of have that in my brain now, so I think that might have to happen. I have Madeline Tosh gray that could be really, really pretty with it. Anyway, I digress. Okay. So what I did is I cast on again with something that was a little bit less variegated. Still a lot of fun. Let's see if I block the light, if it shows up a little better. I think I'm going to have to get up and turn on the light that's up there. Oh boy, Bubby woke up. He was sleeping. Just a second. See what kind of weird havoc that wreaks. Oh, Bubbus. Oh, he's so sad. He's a sad boy. He was napping, and I came up here to try and podcast while he was napping. And apparently he woke up, and he gets really, really sad and panicky if he wakes up. If he fell asleep with somebody with him, and then he wakes up and that person's not there anymore, he freaks out. So he's probably freaking out right now. But my husband's downstairs with him. He's not alone. Fear not. Anyway, so I cast on with this yarn, which is a Homespun House yarn by Molly. The lovely, lovely Molly. And she just put out a new podcast, finally. And she's building a house. She's going to build a house. I'm so, so excited for her and her husband, Robert, and her 2 girls. It's going to be so wonderful for them. So anyway, this yarn is in her Olsen base, which is a BFL, and the colorway is Pygmy Puff from Harry Potter. So I love it. It's very, very pretty. I was looking at my phone, not at my camera, so that I could make sure it was in focus. Alright, so here's the sock so far. And the texture is a little bit hard to see, but I came to the conclusion that I think this texture is just hard to see. think that's just what it is. Because when you cross the cables, you actually purl on the top, so that kind of makes it get lost a little bit. And that's fine. It's still very pretty. I still enjoy it. And so it can only be done toe up. Here's the back of the sock so you can see what it looks like in stockinette. So Cece, who's Java Pearl on Ravelry, said that if I did it top down, that it actually would do weird things with the cables and it wouldn't look like it was intended to look. So I was like, fine, I'll do it toe up. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do toe up, and then I've actually begun the heel that I'm going to put in. So it is a mock heel flap, or a faux heel flap, I think is what it's called. It's from the toe up socks, basic toe up sock with faux heel flap by Liat Gat. And it's a free pattern, but you do have to sign up for her website. I think it's knitfreedom.com. So if you look on Ravelry, I've linked to the pattern I'm using for the heel on my pattern page as well. It it has the place on Ravelry now where you can say used elements of. So I linked it as I used elements of that other pattern. And what it does is it allows you to create a heel that's toe up that acts like a heel flap. So you can adjust for a high instep. So that is what I'm doing. So I've just started doing the increases, and basically you just increase up to a certain amount of stitches, and then I'm going to work back and forth just like I would to turn the heel. And then I think I'm going to do almost like a short row heel, but I've done those increases to give myself more room in where the traditional gusset would be, which is really what you need for the high instep. So that is what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying them so far. And I forgot to show my little progress keeper. It's a teapot. I also got that from Molly's shop, thehomespunhouse.com. So go ye and get some Molly yarn because it's fabulous, and her stitch markers are also adorable. And I'm stitching it on 2.5 millimeter needles. They are Addi Sock Rockets, which are my needles of choice. Okay, so that is Sock Whip number 1. And then my other one I actually didn't bring up for my Coffee with CC Cal. It is the Peppermint Mocha socks. I got them cast back on a 2.5 mil needle and basically worked up to the point I was at before, and they're going really well, but I didn't really work on them in the last 2 weeks, so I just didn't have any progress to show. Yeah, I'll show this next. So the next thing I've been working on, and I've gotten a lot of progress done on this, is my Penny Candy Tee, knit out of Wool and Vine yarns in the Strassa and Footsie bases. The two colorways I'm using are Jilted Rose and Succulents. So, if you'll recall, last podcast, I had said I measured my stitches per inch up here when I started the stripes, and I was way off. So I think I was at like 7.5 stitches per inch, and that was really going to change the measurements of the sweater. It would have made it much too small, and it would have been a lot of negative ease. So I'm aiming for getting somewhere around a 38 to 40. So I'm knitting the 36 to 40 size because my upper bust here is 37. My bust is 44. But I knit most things to match my upper bust and just deal with them stretching over my chest. So if I get a 40, like that's 4 inches of negative ease just right here. But then my waist is quite small, and like I said, my upper bust is small, so I don't want things to be all off my shoulders, and especially for this one, because they said that the little lace inset that's right here is actually quite loose. So if you knit it too loose, it would kind of fall off of your shoulders. So I wanted to make sure that didn't happen. So I'm just going for negative ease, and I'll just keep trying it on. And if I get up to that point, you know, I'll put in a lifeline when I'm kind of underneath the bust. I'll knit up to where I would split for the armholes. And then if it doesn't work out, I can rip back down to my lifeline, and I can increase to the next size up stitch count, and then I can, or increase up halfway through and then decrease back down. I've done that before in sweaters and it works out well, so that's my plan if this doesn't work. And it looks teeny tiny, but look at that. It stretches a ton. So it's just on a very small circumference needle. I think it's on a 24-inch cable right now. So, oh my gosh, I love it so much, you guys. So I knit the bottom part in a 2.75 mil needle because it said to go down a couple of needle sizes from your main body yarn. I'm sorry, the kids are just screaming at each other. Yeah, Josh was going through hitting phase. So he's hitting Megwin, and then she has this huge reaction, like she'll scream, "Don't hit Bobby, don't hit Bobby." And I think that he enjoys the big reaction, so then of course he does it again, because toddlers are sort of psychopaths. They just like to see your reaction. They don't really feel empathy yet. They're starting to, but humans don't really have empathy down at age 2. So we've told her that the best thing she can do is take her attention away from him and try to calmly tell him no. And, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. She's 6. What do you do? So this I'm now doing in a size 5 needle, and I think it's working really well. I love the variegation of it. So in some places it's very minty green, and in some places it's a little bit more yellowy green. And the Jilted Rose, which is this color, goes from like a super light mauve to this somewhat darker mauve. Yeah, it's just very pretty. I'm really, really loving it. And now that I'm on the just stripy stripe part, it's very mindless knitting. I have a long way to go because I don't think I'm going to do waist shaping just because I'm doing it with negative ease already. I don't think I need to bring it down for waist shaping. So yeah, having fun with that. And I have used up this much so far of the cake. It's hollow. There's my succulents. It's so pretty. I love it. I think I just flipped over to another set of recording because I'm at 33 minutes. So, but I think my phone seamlessly starts a new piece of video. And that's in my Mina Makes bag by the lovely Mina Phillip. And my husband fixed my zipper pull for me because it came off. It came off its little ring. So I asked him to fix it, and he was able to squish it back together with some tools. Because he's handy like that. Oh, yeah. Okay. So then in my bird leg bags bag, which my mom got for me for my birthday last year, I still have more things to pull from my bag of tricks. That's for later. Okay. The other thing I've really been working a lot on is my scrappy blankets. Sorry, I've got polyfill in here because I've been working on my Beekeeper's quilt. And for those of you who don't remember my Beekeeper's quilt, I'll show it to you. So here it is so far. I I love this, how squishy the puffs are. I love it. It's so squishy. It's so fun. So I've tied on some new puffs. Look, there's a full and fine one. Octopus Garden. I think I tied on that one. The little blue one down there. This one. Which I think is Eddie Griswold from No Makers. And the Butterbeer from No Makers. But isn't it pretty? So I've been both tying on little puffs and knitting more little puffs. I think of it as making the world warmer, one puff at a time. Oh, look at it. It's like a cuddly bear. It's a knitted hug. So I made a puff out of some mini skeins that I got from Mina. She sent them to me when I won that bag. She just popped a couple of minis that are coming out of their bag in for me. So I knit one, oh my goodness, out of this delightfulness, and I don't know what yarn this is, but I love it. I would love to have a skein of this yarn. I'm thinking it's maybe Wool Barn, just that's purely judging by the colors, and I could be full of crap. She gave me a paper that had all of them on there, and Joshua has lost it. So there it is. It's very light, delicate greens, pinks, and cream. And it's so soft. So I can't find the puff that I made out of it. I do have it in here. Haha, there it is. So there's my puff that I made out of that. And then I made one out of my Wool and Vine Yarns Footsie. This was from the Gory Details Club. In the Footsie base, this is the Mystery colorway. And it looks a little bedraggled. The reason for that is that it has been knit 3 times. I used this as my gauge swatch for my penny candy tee. So I knit it in the round into a gauge swatch, and then I washed it, I blocked it, and realized that my gauge was wildly off for the penny candy tee. But I just used scrap yarn on the very top of it and just tied it in a knot so that I would be able to unravel it and make a hexie puff, and it was almost exactly the right amount for a hexie puff. But this hexie puff does look a little bit sad right now because it's been washed, blocked, knit, frogged, reknit. So it needs to be blocked again, but that's fine. I always wash all of my hexie puffs before I tie them onto the blanket. Sorry, I have fuzz on my tongue. And the reason I do that is because some of the yarns that I use are quite dark, and I've noted that sometimes indie dyers, their yarns can bleed, and I don't want to have them in my blanket and then wash my blanket and it just becomes this yucky grayish blob. I want to keep all of those yarns nice and saturated and beautiful. So I knit them and then I wash them in color families. So like I'll wash kind of blue tones together. This creamy tone I would wash with other very light yarns. And that way, if they do bleed, they only kind of bleed within their own color family. I mean, you don't like that. And then I started another one. And this yarn will look familiar, right? It's my Opal sparkly sock yarn. So I'm going to knit probably 2 hexie puffs out of that. I will knit some into my 10 stitch twist, and then the rest will become mini skeins for swaps. So I have a couple of friends who are also doing mini skein related projects. Disa, for example, who has 5 scrap yarn blankets going. She's crazy. But I know she's running out of minis, so I will definitely send her some of this. And then this is what I have left of my Vesper sock yarn. I'm not going to make any Hexie Puffs out of this because it's too thin. Doesn't work. But I did start my 10 stitch twist blanket with it. Oh, there's another Mina yarn. And I am going to give the rest away as, like I said, a sock yarn mini. Here's what's left of my lovely shawl. You can see the sparkles. This is Volanvine Blitz Base. It's from my Bow Ties Are Cool shawl, so I was going to knit Hexie Puffs out of that one next. Man, he is an unhappy boy. Oh my. Here's a teeny ball of Kaleidoscope, because I had to wind off enough of the second skein to get to the pink again. So, that'll go into my blanket too. Okay, I finally got into the bottom. That's what was left of my gauge swatch of the mystery sock yarn. So not too bad. Yeah. I might use this, what's left, to tie some Hexie Puffs together, because I am tying them together. So I always need yarn for that. So that's a good little scrap for tying. And BFL is great yarn for that kind of thing because it's very strong. Okay. So now that I've dug down to the bottom of my bag, that's all clean. I will show you my 10 stitch twist blanket. So it is in a fabulous little bag that was made for me by Mel, who's Women in a Shoe. I got it in an Advent swap, and we actually just got sign-ups are going on right now for the Advent swap for this year, and I of course signed up because I've done it every year since I started really participating in Ravelry on a serious basis. I haven't missed a year of it, so it just wouldn't be Christmas without it for me. Okay, so my 10 stitch blanket. I'm not sure about this blanket, and the reason is that it's really not laying flat right now, so I am just totally living on trust, because in the pattern it says don't worry if it doesn't lay flat, the later rounds will stretch it out. So I'm hoping that they will. I'm gonna give it a chance. But if I get a whole lot further, maybe 2 more spirals, and it still looks like I'm making a gigantic beach ball hat, I'm going to rip it out and figure out some other pattern. Maybe a Cozy Memories blanket. Sacrilege. Oh, the ends. But you know, I thought about it and I was like, I'm going to have a lot of ends for this one too. I'm going to have a lot of ends either way. I'm crazy. So, we'll see. But I do like this one because nobody else is knitting it. It's only 10 stitches at a time. It's very easy. And I already really love my normal 10 stitch blanket. So, I'm really hoping it works out. But my idea, if you will recall, was that I was going to do rainbows. So I was going to start with the True Rainbow yarn, which was the Vesper sock yarn. So I started my little middle part with Vesper sock yarn, and then you basically start spiraling outward, and it grows off of itself. It's a very ingenious pattern. So up through the orange, which my pinky is on right now, that was all Vesper sock yarn. Then this yellow is LE Lacy Yarns. And then I started with a different green, a more different green. This was the leftover of Christmas Pickle from Gnome Acres. So I'm basically going to keep doing variants of all of the rainbow colors, but I'm going to diverge from the pure, true, solid, semi-solid rainbow colors. And I may sub in some pink for the red stripe, because I don't have a lot of reddish sock yarns, but I do have a lot of ones with pink in them. So I'm really stretching it out right now, but if I didn't, This is what it looks like. It looks like I'm creating a little mountain. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm following the pattern, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So this is the right side, and you can see that it makes a little ridge on the pickup rose. And then the wrong side is actually flat. I pondered this being my right side, but then I thought about it and I was like, well, if I actually use it as a blanket, I'm going to want it to be smooth against my body. I don't want this ridge against my body. I don't know if you can see the ridge. Probably can't see it. So I went with it. And so I'm always making sure I'm starting a new color so that the, stripe is on the back. You know the stripe you get when you join in garter stitch, when you join a new color. So that's that. So the next one is going to be that light blue, gray, white that I showed you that was the Eddie Griswold from No Makers. So I still have some left. It's a sparkle. So I'm knitting that for my blue. And then the purple is going to be that one I threw in from Mina Phillip. Oh, shoot. This one will be my purple. And then I will start anew on the next round. So essentially you just, again, free pattern. You knit around and you put a little marker into your knitting where you start your round, and then when you get to the end of it you add an extra ridge. So I'm actually at that point right now, which is probably why I stopped knitting it, because I would have needed to refer to the pattern again. Yep, so I have one more round that I would pick up into that ridge, and then I would start doing the extra plain round. So you do a short row round, and then 2 plain ridges, which is 4, rows, and then short row and 3 all the way around, and short row then 4 all the way around. So we'll see. So I'm going to give it another 2 spirals, and if it starts to flatten out, good deal. I'm going to keep going with it. If it doesn't, then I'll rip it out and I'll figure something else out to do with my minis. I hope it works out. So that is the 10 Stitch Twist by Frankie Brown. And it is living in this little bag with my lovely minis. Got lots of minis in there, ready to go. And then that is inside, like I said, my bird leg bags bag with a whole crap ton extra other stuff, because I'm crazy and I always carry around like 20 projects with me, because that's how I roll. I'm a much more prolific knitter up here than I am in real life. Okay. So then, oops, I forgot about my tea. I haven't drunk any of it. Now it's lukewarm, but it's surprisingly still okay. Okay. Give me one moment. I'm going to reset here. Reset button. Okay. So next things that I wanted to show you is, like I said, we're going on a long trip. So the car ride will probably be around 10 and a half hours. So I have a lot of car knitting planned. My husband will probably drive for most of it because he does not really like being the passenger. He gets bored. He doesn't have a hand work hobby like I do. He sews and he enjoys sewing, and he lifts weights. Those are his hobbies. And of course he bushcrafts. But none of those can you really do inside of a car. So he will probably just drive and we will talk, because we love to talk about basically anything. science, politics, pop culture. We talk a lot. So I'll just keep him company and I will knit my little heart out. So I have planned probably way more projects than I can ever get done, but there's nothing wrong with that, is there? Okay, so like I said, I have the 2 sock whips for the Coffee with CC Cal. I have plans for some socks for the Gilmore Girls Cal, which is being co-hosted by the Knitting Broomstick, Vegan Jilly, and the Geeky Girls Knits podcast, who is Java Pearl, and shoot, her daughter's name is Dammy, but I don't remember what her Ravelry name is. I'm so sorry. But they are doing for the full month of August and the month of September anything that's Gilmore Girls related. And then she also released a sock pattern, which is called Where You Lead, I Will Follow, and it's obviously based on the Gilmore Girls theme song. So I bought that pattern, and you get an extra entry into the Cal for knitting that pattern. So I'm going to knit with this yarn. Oh my. And I'm calling this my Snow and Yellow Daisies. It is from Spark Story. And I'm blanking on the actual name of the colorway now, and I've lost the tag. I bought it a long time ago. But I'm going to make the Where You Lead, I Will Follow socks out of this. Beautiful skein. And then the other pattern that I am going to knit is the Coffee Date shawl again, from the Coffee with CC book. I'm going to use 3 colors of yarn because it's a 3-color shawl. So I'm going to do this one, which is Spud and Chloe and Popcorn. It's a very, very pale, creamy yellow. This one, which is Knitting Notions in Peridot, or as I'm calling it, the Lettuce Essence colorway. And then this gorgeous thing, which is the Coffee colorway from No Makers. It is in the House Gnome base, and it is perfection in a skein. So there they are. Shawl number 1. And then because, yeah, I can knit more than 1 shawl in a weekend. Sure I can. Sure. I wound up for another shawl. And this one, I wound up this beautiful skein of Volenvine yarns. This is also from the Gory Details Sock Club in the Assaulted by Bears colorway. And if you want some of this gorgeousness, I think her next update in 2 weeks will have all of the club colorways. She's going to release them. So if you didn't get in on the club, you can still have some. And I'm going to knit it with this beautiful dark brick red. And this I will knit into a Charlatan shawl by Jenny Santopietro. It is a new design that she released recently, and it has a triangle on the top that you knit back and forth, and then you knit the lace border sideways. So the border will be this color, and then that lovely garter triangle will be in this colorway. I think that's going to be very beautiful. So those 2 together are my other shawl that I'm taking yarn with me for. So I have enough yarn for 2 shawls, another pair of socks. I already have 2 pairs of socks on the needles, plus my Felici socks, which makes 3 socks on the needles. So I'm gonna somehow knit 2 shawls, 3 pairs of socks, and my penny candy tea, all in 5 days. Yeah. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. I was chatting with Kristen and I said, I have enough yarn for, and I listed off all the stuff, and I said, and a big old dose of crazy. Because you need that. It's what powers my knitting. Crazy. Okay, so I'm going to put those all in there. And this is a fun little bag that I got in a swap from a lovely lady in Norway. It's got ice cream on it. It's like a vinyl bag with these nice handles. It's huge. You just saw I put all of that yarn in there, and there's probably still room for, you know, patterns and everything. So I really love it for just like if I'm packing up a whole bunch of yarn like this, or for a sweater. It's a great bag for a sweater. I love it. So that is basically all that I made plans to take for my travel knitting. So then we are getting ready to go into the Sherlock Cal. And I haven't mentioned that yet, but I'm also co-hosting that with Jilly from Knitting Broomstick. So I am going to knit a pair of fingerless mitts with this yarn. Excuse me. This is Spud and Chloe sweater. Right? Spud and Chloe sweater? No, it's not Spud and Chloe sweater. No, you're crazy, Nina. It's Cascade 220 Superwash Aran. Spud and Chloe sweater. I do have Spud and Chloe sweater in this colorway. So what I'm going to make is, there's a pair of mitts that's a free pattern on Ravelry called Watson, What's That on Your Hands? And of course, it's Sherlock themed. So it is based on the different knit sweaters that Watson wears in the BBC series. And so it has some nice cabling on the palm, and then on the back it's got a chevron pattern. And I think they'll be very quick because they're going to be knitted in Aran weight. And my plan is to include them as one of the items in my Advent swap. So I will be killing two birds with one stone. And yeah, go me, participating in my own cals. So that's that. So I should be able to get those done pretty quickly. And then the other thing I'm thinking about, but I will have to see where I'm at with the Advent swap knitting, because there is quite a bit of work that goes into that package every year, and I love it. It's a lot of fun, and like I said, I wouldn't not do it for anything, because it is a huge part of our holiday time. Like, Megwin loves opening the packages with me every day, and I'm really going to enjoy bringing Joshua into that this year. So yeah, but you do have to plan a lot. There's a lot of pieces that go into it, and I put a lot of handcrafted items in there, so I try to do a combination of cross stitch and sewing and knitting. So I'll probably be full on into that for the next few months. But if I have time, I would like to knit a honey sweater if I finish my penny candy tea, right? If out of these. So the honey sweater is, again, a striped sweater because I love striped sweaters. I have a ton of striped t-shirts. I just love stripes. So I will do the one stripe in this pretty variegated skein. I have two of these. This is Knit Picks Chroma in the, I think it's Wildflowers colorway. I don't remember. Does it say it on here? Wildflower, yeah. So it's got sage green, rose, yellow, butter yellow, a nice light aqua, and then this lavender color. And I think this will be perfect with it, and it is not showing up the color that it should at all because my lighting is total crap. This is a very deep eggplant purple, and this is Knit Picks Rosada. It's a discontinued yarn which is very sad because it is a fabulous yarn and I love it, and I bought a crap ton of it before Knit Picks sold out of it completely, and I've got, I think, 5 or 6 skeins of this. So it is a cotton wool elastic blend, but it's just really springy, and it's lightweight, and it makes fabulous socks. Like, I have socks that I made with Risata in 2004 that still look just as good as the day they came off the needles. I don't have any other socks from any other sock yarn that I can say that about, but these I can. So I think will make a great sweater yarn. So this would be like the contrast on the neckline, on the cuffs, and the pockets. And it is like the sweater that I made for Megwin out of the 2 colors of No Maker's Tweed. Hers was the Little Honey, so it was just the smaller version of the adult size pattern. So I have the adult one as well, and I want to make it, and that's what I will make it in. So someday that will be a sweater. I don't know when, how soon, how late, but I just wanted to share that with you, that I finally came up with that color combination. And I see that I'm at an hour now, so I definitely had a lot to share. I don't want to go much over an hour because that's a lot of talking, and I know for some people that's too long of a podcast. The one thing I do want to show really quickly, and I will pick up the camera and move it around, is I want to show my yarn baskets, because I really am happy with how my yarn storage looks now. And if you have a Tuesday morning, you might want to check it out. So, okay, I hit my back button, and I really hope I didn't just delete my whole segment. I'd be really angry with myself if I did. Okay, so we're going to go on a little tour of my yarn baskets here. And you're going to get glare from the window. Okay, I'm going to have weird lighting, but it will help for you guys to see what is going on with my yarn storage here. So this top bin is my Wool and Vine yarns, and I have the 1 skein of Countess Ablaze that I got from Sarah of the Love Sock Wool podcast, and then I have my little sheepy ornament that I got. Hello! We'll shove them down in there. So obviously I've shown these on the podcast, but it's looking a little thin in the Wool and Vine suite. I have a hole. And obviously I had to fill in with something else. And then once these 2 are gone, which these are the other 2 skeins I have for my Penny Candy tea. So once those are gone, I'll be quite low on Wool and Vine. For me. Come on. I'm not low on Wool and Vine for a normal person. I'm just crazy. Here, we'll shove my sheep in and then we'll never know. Okay, so the top bin is Wool and Vine. We've established that. Let's go down one, shall we? So this bin was all Gnome Acres, but again, I'm very low on Gnome Acres. I haven't bought any Gnome Acres in a while, and I've been trying to knit through some of it and enjoy it. So this one is actually a, I think, hand-dyed skein that I received from a viewer. These 2 are Dream in Color Smushy from my mom in the Butter Peeps colorway. It's a very pretty buttery yellow with a little light blushy peach. Then I have 1 skein of the Gnome Some Dove tweed, Bad Bunny for a very bunny. I have the rest of the Little Bunny Fufu, and I've got worsted weight Little Bunny Fufu down in there for making a mommy and daddy bonbon bunny. This is Lovey Dovey. S'mores. These 2 are a doppelganger set in, shoot, I don't remember what that one is. Something Sunset? That's gonna bug me now. Alright, I don't remember. And then this one is Mint Chocolate Chip. It's DK weight, and I was gonna make some thrummed mittens out of that. And then this guy is actually a different skein too. It's a hand-dyed skein from Norway. And it's a singles. So I don't know what I'm going to make out of that. I need to find another singles to put with it to make a shawl, I think. And then here is my Fleecy craziness. And this is actually fiber optic. And I had started a, oh my gosh, Molly shawl, Whispering Pine shawl. But I think I would want my Whispering Pines to be bigger. I would make it in like more of a sport weight yarn. So I'm going to frog that and use this for something else. So let's look at our Fleecy, shall we? This thing is 4 down for each one. Now a couple of them I have the other skein downstairs, but I have so much Fleecy, it's ridiculous. It's 2 rows. And then this is old Fleecy. So it's in the Summer Berries colorway. This one I got from my Aunt Lynn. So those are very special. So I've decided that I'm just going to always have a skein of Fleecy on the needles, a pair of socks in Fleecy on the needles, until I've used up all of these. So just so you can see it all the way down, it's got 3 baskets on it, and this little guy is what I use for my trash can. But yeah, I really like it, and I like that it lets me enjoy some of my very favorite sock yarns and my favorite dyers, and I get to kind of showcase them. So that is it. Thank you guys for sticking with me, if you did, and for watching, and I will see you all in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, because I will be out of town next week, so I will not be able to podcast next week. So until next time, happy knitting. Bye.